Beloved ones, I want you to listen carefully. Love is the most beautiful, the most subtle, and the most sacred energy that exists. Yet so often it is wasted, misused, or destroyed. Not by fate, not by destiny, but by unconsciousness. I have seen many women, even with the purest heart, fall into patterns that slowly kill the joy in a relationship. And the first thing a woman should never do with a man is try to change his essence. Do you understand? Not even a little. Do not try to change him. Do not attempt to mold him into your idea of perfection, into your fantasy of how a man should be. This is a trap. This is the destruction of love. I have seen this in my own life, in my own observation of people. A man is not clay to be shaped. He is not a painting to be adjusted to your taste. He has been formed by life, by his family, by his experiences. Every man carries his own rhythm, his own chaos, his own silence, his own shadows. If a woman steps into his life with the hidden agenda of improvement, even if her intention is love, it will create tension, it will create rebellion, resistance, and invisible walls between hearts. Unconscious control is the enemy of love. Love is acceptance. I have said this many times and I say it again. Acceptance does not mean weakness. It does not mean compromise. It does not mean surrendering your own intelligence. It means looking at the man as he is, feeling him as he is, and choosing to be with him without trying to correct him. Correction comes from ego. Acceptance comes from consciousness. A woman who has learned this sees a man's imperfections, sees his habits, sees his fears, and does not clutch them with judgment. She watches, she listens, she understands, she allows life to unfold, and she participates without interference. I have observed that many women, even unknowingly, begin relationships with a hidden notebook of rules. He should do this, he should be like this, he must change that. And slowly, even love begins to feel like management, like duty, like work. And the man feels it. He may pretend, he may comply, but deep inside, resentment grows. Love is not compliance. Love is flow. Love is freedom. The moment a woman tries to sculpt a man according to her expectations, love stops flowing. It becomes a transaction, a negotiation, a game of power. Beloved ones, I have lived alone. I have watched relationships. I have spoken to hundreds of men and women. I have learned that change, real change, arises from within, not from external pressure. A man can only evolve if he chooses to evolve, if his awareness awakens. If a woman tries to force growth, she kills spontaneity, she kills joy, she kills the very aliveness that drew her to him in the first place. Accept him as he is. Watch him, love him, walk with him. Let the essence of the man remain untouched. Only then does true love blossom. The second thing a woman should never do with a man is lose herself to keep him. This is very subtle, and most women do it unknowingly. I have seen it many times. A woman enters a relationship with curiosity, love, and excitement, but slowly, without noticing, she begins to shrink. Layer by layer, her presence diminishes. Her dreams, her joys, her laughter, her voice, all begin to bend toward him, toward his comfort, toward his needs. At first, she believes she is being loving, generous, selfless, but in truth, she is surrendering her aliveness. She is becoming small so that he feels bigger. And this is not love, this is loss. I speak from observation, from understanding, from experience. When a woman disappears behind the shadow of a man, the relationship may appear smooth for a while. The man may feel relief because there is no challenge, no difference, no energy that confronts him. But soon, even he begins to sense it. Subconsciously, he feels something missing. He may not know the words, but he feels the absence of the woman's radiance, her fire, her independence. And then attraction begins to fade. Respect begins to fade. Love cannot grow in absence. Only need remains, and need suffocates. I have lived long enough to see that a man is attracted not to submission, not to compliance, not to a shadow. He is attracted to presence, to energy, to life that moves and dances freely. A woman who has lost herself may keep him temporarily, but she cannot inspire him. She cannot hold him with joy. She cannot meet him as an equal because she has disappeared inside her own attempt to please. The dance of love requires two full beings, not one full and one empty. Beloved ones, this is the tragedy of unconscious sacrifice. A woman says, "I will give everything so that he loves me." But love does not thrive on sacrifice. It thrives on authenticity. It thrives on seeing yourself fully, being yourself fully, and walking together with another fully. To lose yourself to keep him is to trade your soul for temporary comfort. You may gain his attention, but you lose the most precious thing, yourself. I tell you from my own understanding, the woman who is rooted in herself, who holds her voice, her joy, her freedom, radiates an energy that is irresistible. She does not chase, she does not beg, she does not shrink. And paradoxically, the man feels drawn to her not because he is controlled, but because he senses her completeness. Her wholeness calls to his wholeness. Remember, beloved ones, love is not about shrinking, it is about expanding. It is not about disappearance, it is about radiance. Never disappear to keep a man. Keep yourself, nourish your soul, hold your joy. Your presence is the gift, not your absence. And when you are complete, love flows naturally, freely, and beautifully. Beloved ones, the third thing a woman should never do with a man is use emotional manipulation. This is very subtle, and yet it is so common. Tears as weapons, silence as punishment, complaints as traps. I have seen it, I have lived through it in observation, and I have seen how it silently destroys love. Love is not a game of strategy. Love is not a battlefield where one side wins by controlling the other. Love is freedom meeting freedom, and manipulation is the opposite of freedom. Many women, without realizing, begin to manipulate because they want attention, reassurance, or validation. They feel insecure. They fear that if they are not clever, if they are not careful, the man will drift away. So slowly, they start controlling with emotions. A tear appears not because the heart is overwhelmed, but because it will move him. A silence appears not because the mind is processing, but because it will punish him. And this is tragic. For even a small act of emotional manipulation plants seeds of distrust. I tell you, beloved ones, honesty is the foundation of any deep connection. I have observed men, conscious or unconscious, and I can say this from experience. A man can forgive mistakes, he can forgive clumsiness, he can forgive even carelessness, but he cannot thrive under emotional games. Manipulation creates tension, invisible but heavy. It suffocates the natural flow of love. It turns a garden into a battlefield, a meeting into a performance, and nothing can grow in such soil. A conscious woman knows that feelings are her own. But she does not use them to control, pressure, or punish another. She expresses herself freely, fully, and truthfully. If she is sad, she allows the sadness to be felt and seen, not hidden as a secret weapon. If she is angry, she does not weaponize it, she communicates it. If she wants love, she does not demand it, she radiates her need, gently, without pressure. And in this presence, the man meets her naturally. He does not obey. He flows. He responds from his own heart, not from fear or manipulation. Beloved ones, manipulation is not only harmful to the man, it is harmful to the woman herself. When she uses tears or silence to control, she disconnects from her own authenticity. She becomes a performer, not a participant. She loses the depth of true feeling because feelings are being used as currency. Love that trades in currency is never love, it is business. Remember, the art of love is honesty. The art of love is clarity. The art of love is presence. When a woman expresses herself without manipulation, the relationship becomes sacred. Energy flows freely. The heart opens. Trust deepens. Love thrives without force, without control, without expectation. And this is how conscious, mature love is born. Beloved ones, the fourth thing a woman should never do with a man is make him her entire world. This is a very common trap, and yet so subtle that it often goes unnoticed. A woman in her love may begin to invest every thought, every moment, every expectation into the man she loves. She may begin to measure her happiness, her peace, her sense of meaning entirely through his presence, his attention, his moods. At first this may feel sweet, romantic, necessary even, but slowly, very slowly, it becomes a prison. When one person becomes your whole universe, fear is born. Fear of losing him, fear of being abandoned, fear of loneliness, and fear is the most poisonous force in love. I have lived long enough to observe both men and women, and I have noticed a universal truth. Love cannot grow in fear. When a woman depends on a man for her wholeness, the relationship begins to tremble on shaky ground. Every word, every action, every absence becomes magnified. Small misunderstandings feel like disasters. Every delay feels like betrayal. And soon, joy disappears. Love becomes heavy. Love becomes exhausting. The natural flow of attraction is replaced by tension. A man can walk beside you, but he cannot be your ground. He cannot give you stability, completeness, or eternal happiness. Wholeness must come from within. This is a lesson I have learned through silence, solitude, and observation. A woman who is whole by herself brings a calmness into the relationship that no effort or strategy can create. Her happiness is her own, and because it is not borrowed, it radiates freely. This freedom is magnetic. The man feels drawn to it naturally. He does not feel pressured, controlled, or needed. He feels inspired, understood, and respected. Beloved ones, many women confuse love with surrendering their independence. They say, if I am not entirely devoted, he will leave me. But devotion is not measured by dependence. True devotion is presence, awareness, respect, and joy. A woman can love fully without losing herself. In fact, she can only love fully when she does not lose herself. Love is not about giving everything you have until you are empty. Love is about sharing your completeness, your light, your presence with another complete being. Remember, the danger of making a man your entire world is that it creates unconscious need. Need is fear. Fear is suffocation. Suffocation kills attraction. But when a woman stands in her own center, she is free. And the man is free too. The relationship becomes a dance, not a cage. Two beings moving together, not because they are incomplete, not because they are desperate, but because they choose to share life together. Beloved ones, the woman who knows this does not cling, does not panic, does not demand. She loves, not out of emptiness, but out of fullness. And in this love, freedom blooms, joy blooms, respect blooms, and the man feels her presence not as a burden, not as a responsibility, but as a gift. This is the power of rootedness, and this is why a woman must never make a man her entire world. Beloved ones, the fifth thing a woman should never do with a man is stay where respect is missing. Respect. It is the foundation of any healthy relationship, and yet it is so often overlooked. Many women confuse love with tolerance. They say, I love him, so I must accept everything. And slowly, without realizing, they tolerate small insults, minor dismissals, subtle control, even emotional neglect. They think love requires sacrifice, endurance, patience. But this is a great misunderstanding. Love without respect is not love. It is suffering dressed in romance. I have observed deeply. A man who does not respect you may say kind words. He may perform small acts of care. He may even claim that he loves you. But if respect is missing, something essential is absent. Respect is not simply politeness. Respect is recognition of your presence, your individuality, your value. Without respect, love loses its purity. It becomes transactional, conditional, and fragile. A woman who sacrifices her dignity for love plants the seeds of resentment, bitterness, and disappointment. Many women hope that their patience, loyalty, and sacrifice will awaken respect. But respect cannot be demanded or earned through suffering. It is a reflection of consciousness. A conscious man respects naturally. He does not need to be forced, reminded, or manipulated, and a conscious woman knows this truth. She does not compromise her worth in the hope of love, because she understands that love without dignity is like a flower without fragrance. It may look beautiful, but it has no essence. Beloved ones, walking away from disrespect is not ego. It is awareness, it is clarity, and awareness is the only way to maintain your inner peace. I have lived long enough to see that women who tolerate disrespect slowly lose connection with themselves. They begin to doubt their own value. They begin to accept that small indignities are normal. This is dangerous. It poisons the mind, the heart, and even the body. Respect is not negotiable. It is not optional. It is the soil in which love grows. When respect is present, love becomes effortless. Words are no longer sharp or heavy. Silence is comfortable. Presence is enough. A conscious woman communicates without fear. She speaks her truth, and the man listens, not out of obligation, but out of awareness. She does not manipulate, she does not control, she does not shrink. She simply knows her value. And this knowledge radiates like light, attracting consciousness, maturity, and care from the man naturally. Beloved ones, remember this. A relationship without respect is like a body without breath. It cannot survive. Love without dignity becomes slavery, not celebration. Tolerating disrespect in the name of love is not noble. It is unconscious. To walk away from what diminishes you is not cruelty, it is liberation. And liberation is the foundation of real love. When a woman honors herself, she teaches the man the same. And from this mutual awareness, love becomes sacred, effortless, and eternal. Beloved ones, now we come to the culmination of all that I have shared. The sixth truth is subtle, yet it is the most profound. A woman must remember that love is not about pleasing, fixing, controlling, or losing herself. Love is a meeting of two complete beings. This is the essence that so few understand. I have watched relationships for decades. I have sat with thousands of men and women, and I have seen the mistakes repeated over and over. Love becomes bondage when need, fear, manipulation, or dependence enters. It becomes suffocating. But when two whole beings meet, love becomes meditation, a sacred dance, a river flowing freely. I tell you from my own experience, a woman who is rooted in her being, who knows her worth, who respects herself, and who does not shrink or manipulate, becomes magnetic. Not because she is trying to attract, but because she radiates presence. Presence is far more powerful than beauty. Presence is far more attractive than dependency. And a man who is conscious feels this immediately. He does not need to be forced, convinced, or persuaded. He simply feels the wholeness of the woman, and he responds from his own wholeness. Beloved ones, in such a relationship, love is not possession. It is freedom. There is no clinging, no jealousy, no silent games, no unspoken demands. There is trust, patience, and joy. Two beings walk together side by side not because they need each other to survive, but because they choose to share their journey. This choice is the most sacred form of intimacy. It is not rooted in hunger, it is rooted in abundance. And when love flows from abundance, it heals, it uplifts, it transforms. A woman who understands this does not seek to control the man. She does not attempt to mold him into an ideal. She does not shrink to please him. She does not tolerate disrespect, and she does not manipulate his emotions. Instead, she meets him as he is, fully, and she presents herself fully. And in this authenticity, the relationship becomes alive. Energy flows, hearts open, and trust deepens naturally. There is no struggle, only harmony. Beloved ones, remember this deeply. The greatest gift a woman can offer is herself, not her compliance, not her sacrifices, not her strategies, but her awareness, her presence, her authenticity. And when a man meets this, he meets not a half, a shadow, or a mask, but a living being. And only then can true love arise. Love becomes a meditation, not a conflict. A celebration, not a compromise. Freedom dancing with freedom. Two whole beings sharing life without fear, without need, without bondage. So, beloved ones, these 5 things I have shared are not rules to restrict. They are guideposts to awaken awareness. Love, when rooted in consciousness, cannot fail. It cannot be destroyed. And when a woman honors herself, the man is inspired to honor her in return. And in this mutual respect, this shared freedom, true love blooms eternally.